in my life has been a total testimony to God. And for me now, it is just a lifestyle that certain things happen. And God said to me, he said, Bernie, those things are not usual. You know, they're not things that people encounter every day that you are used to, that you take for granted. And one of them is basically, it was like 3 or 4 years ago, I had an operation, and technically, I was not supposed to have the operation, but because I lost faith, I went into the operation. And when I came out of the operation, I ended up in intensive care. It was a routine operation, and I woke up in intensive care. And what the guy told me that happened, what the doctor told me that happened was that I just couldn't stop bleeding. It was like the more blood they pump into me, they said the more blood, they just spoot out. It just like they was pumping blood into me, and it was just spooting out all over the place, and it was like, this girl had died, right? So that was the second operation, because the first operation they carried me in, when they came to wake me up, there was just blood all over the floor. It was just blood draining, it was all over the floor and everything. And so the attendant, he said, he just like rushed me back into the operating room. And when I got, he said that I wasn't supposed to use that room because that was the main theater and that was supposed to be occupied. But he said, for some reason, miss, I would not let nobody use that room. He said, everybody came, doctors came to me, I need to use this room. He said, no, you cannot have this room. They was like, why? He said, I don't know, you just can't have this room. And he said, after they found me in that state, because he said when he came to wake me up, he saw all of that. That was the room that he rushed me right into. And he said, because if they had to carry me to another room, I probably wouldn't make it because it was further, but that one was really close to where I was. And it so happened that when I got into the operating room, I was awake, and I was already awake, and I was looking at him, and he was so frantic. I mean, his face was so, this man don't even know me. And he was like, oh my gosh, this girl can die. And he was like, it was like he was a family member. And I was looking at him, and I was trying to speak, but no words was coming out. I was trying to tell him, it's going to be okay. That's what I was trying to tell him, because he was so upset. And when they rolled me into the operating room, I mean, they didn't even take no time to sedate me or nothing. He just yanked the bandage off. I was like, oh! They just yanked the bandage off, and he just started cutting. I was like, oh my God, that's when I think I just fainted from the pain. Because they just cut, because they was like, oh, there's no time to put her under and all. And when I woke up, I was in intensive care, and I woke up and they told me that I lost, there's how many pints of blood in your body? 5? They said I lost 4. 4, 71. And they said the more they pumped in me, it was just coming out. So they just sewed me up and said, they just opened the gas. They just sewed me up and said, they hope I started to clot. And when I woke up, I was cold. It was like something just yucked me back to this reality. It was like, that's how I woke up, taking a big breath. And they had tubes in every part of me. Tubes down my mouth, tubes everywhere. I had like 3 IV in this hand, 2 in this hand, 1 hook up here, 1 hook up everywhere. I was on life support. When I woke up, everybody was over my bedside, but they called them and tell them come because I was dying. They said, come just, spend a couple more minutes because she's on her way out. And when I woke up, I was like trembling because there was no blood in my body. It was like cold. And the nurse, everybody at that point was so kind. She was just rubbing me. She's like, I'm going to get you warm right now. I'm going to get you warm. So she put a blanket on me. She put a heat blanket on me. She put everything on me. Then I got like a little warm, and then I just knocked back out. I gone back to sleep. When I woke up, and they had several people who were in the intensive care unit. And when I woke up, they rushed this lady in, healthy looking lady. And all I saw when she just sat up and she dropped her down, and they was trying to get her back together, and she died right there. And then there was this other lady on the side of me, and she died. So all around the place, there were like people dying in intensive care. And Holy Spirit say, you know why they're dying? Because death is angry because he can't get you. Because he really wants you, but he can't get you. So people around you can die. And the doctor, when he came around, he looked at me and he's like shaking his head like, oh, this lady, she ain't gonna make it. And they probably predicted I was gonna be in there for like 2 weeks. I spent 3 days in intensive care. On the third day I was out.
My Lord.
And the doctor, he was like, he came around and he brought all his attendants. He said, I don't know what to call this woman. And he telling them, he said, because she's not supposed to be doing this. And I'm sitting up and I'm like, on the second day I'm telling him, he's like, what? I said, you need to take the tube out. And they say, I trying to talk, so they gave me this writing pad and I'm writing, take the tube out. I clean it out. So they took the tube out on the second day, and on the third day, they say, oh, we're gonna let you out if you stop bleeding. And when he came, there was no blood in the little thing, there's in the pouch, and that was supposed to catch the filtered blood that was just, and every day I looked at that, and it was just getting less and less, until on the third day, he come and he say, there's no blood? I say, no, there's no blood. And when they came the next day, and they say, oh, we're gonna let you go to the ward. I say, And they took the tube out, and the lady, she was like, hold on, I gotta lift. I said, lift? I jumped in that bed. Woo! I jumped out and I walked in that bed. I said, now you can get me here. And he was like, looking at me like, this is a crazy woman. I said, please get me on this place. And they wheeled me on the ward, and I lay in the bed, and trust me, when they carried me in the ward, Holy Spirit, there was like 4 persons died in that ward when I moved. 4. And the Holy Spirit said again, death is angry because he cannot get you. And when I was in there, the nurse, she came, the doctor, she came around, she said, what's your name, Brenda? She said, sweetie, she said, don't lay down. She said, don't lay down too much. She said, because when you lay down, your recovery takes longer. But she didn't have to tell me that no more. Because every time the doctor comes up to me, I somewhere on the ward. I somewhere in the bed, this woman with a patient. I somewhere on the ward. And I was out there. In 7 days, I was out the hospital. Woo! I spent 3 days, 3 days in intensive care. On the 4th day, ran on the ward. And in 3 days, I was off the ward. I spent 7 days from going in to coming out in the hospital. And I was bust up in that bed. And she said, but then God said, here,